Welcome to Coast View, where we celebrate every single day the men and women who are making coastal Mississippi such a great place to live, work, and play. Hey, listen, I was reading an article in Time magazine this morning, actually, and I read a quote from Alexei Navalny, who is the Russian opposition leader and lawyer and anti-corruption activist from Russia. And he wrote in Time magazine this. He said this: "However, the answer to the main question Putin poses, how to stop an evil madman with an army, nuclear weapons, and membership in the UN Security Council, is yet to be answered. And that is the rest of the civilized world, are the ones who must find the answer." You know, from the very beginning of this conflict, I have stood with Ukraine. I have learned a lot about the Ukraine. I'm sure that you have as well. I mean, I think all Americans are kind of taking it all in. As it relates to coastal Mississippi, through my friendship with Laurie Jackson, who we're going to come to in just a second, who's an independent missionary working in Ukraine, and she had an opportunity to leave, but she chose not to, and they've cobbled together this incredible network of people that they're engaging to help people in Ukraine. But through learning what Laurie has had to teach us and teach me in particular, you know, I've learned that Ukrainians are a lot like coastal Mississippians. You know, they love their family, they love their friends, they have strong faith, they especially love their country, and it's important what we've learned from her. I will say that my belief in standing by Ukraine has only been bolstered by my relationship with Laurie. You know, there has been an effort in America to politicize the Ukrainian effort, and you know, I'm very cognizant of those efforts. But I'm also thrilled that we've been able to get bipartisan effort to support Ukraine in its military efforts. And I have to say that, you know, when it really comes down to it, I think America has done a really good job of answering the call and standing with Ukraine. There's no doubt that the war in Ukraine has had a significant impact on the global economic situation, and I came across this phrase that I thought was really good. Someone said that we live in a shock-prone world. In other words, you know, the ripple effect of something like Ukraine and what's happening in Ukraine has really had this ripple effect, this incredible across-the-board impact in America. In the world. And economically, you know the story by now. The timing couldn't have been worse, incidentally, because we're coming out of the pandemic. We have these supply chain issues, all these issues that we're facing, and then, of course, we have this war. And it can't be this thing that happens in this faraway place. There are too many people that are being impacted. It is on European soil, and that's incredibly important. And as Navalny points out, this is a real opportunity. This is a moment where we've really got to define what the answer is as it relates to Russia and Putin. But I say the most important thing is this: that the invasion of Ukraine has created a massive humanitarian crisis. I pay close attention to McKinsey. McKinsey, the consulting firm, has a tracker. This is today, but these numbers could be different depending on what source you look at. But you're talking about somewhere in the vicinity of nearly 6 million refugees have fled Ukraine. Another nearly 8 million have been displaced, that have had to leave their homes and seek shelter elsewhere in the country. It's a humanitarian crisis we haven't seen since the likes of in Europe since World War II. So, at the base, forget about the economic and the military and all these other issues, the support issue. At the end of the day, the number of families that are being impacted by this war, it's just devastating. And Laurie has helped because she's worked in this area for most of her life, working with families. She is uniquely positioned to talk more about it. And she's going to be joined today with Anna, who is a mother of 2 kids whose husband is on the front line. Laurie will help us interpret what Anna has to say. But before we visit with Anna, let me welcome my friend Laurie back to Coast View, and just first of all say, hello, Laurie. How are you, my friend?
Hey, thanks for having me back. We're okay. Every day has new challenges, but we keep pressing on in what the Lord has for us to do.
So you have been. What's interesting about your post, and I've been closely. You will remind people why you refer to your effort as the ants. We'll come back to that in just a second. But what I've really been impressed by is that how you're sort of turning on the dime based on what the current situation is, and it's always changing, isn't it, Laurie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know. Like, I feel like every day there's something new, kind of like I said. New challenges, new like situations. If in the beginning people were all going out of Ukraine, now there's a massive re-entry happening. And who knows, like tomorrow or next week, it could be back the other direction. And also the things that are needed changes as different places are liberated or taken under control of the Russian army. So it just really depends on the day and what's happening. Mm-hmm.
So let's help people understand this group that you cobbled together. Sort of, who are they, and why do you call yourselves the Ants?
Okay, so basically it's just friends and friends of friends and friends of friends of friends. And what happened was when Kyiv was attacked on February 24th, several of us left and headed west and ended up in a hotel in Western Ukraine. There were 4 of us in the beginning, and we decided to stay. The decision was, do we leave tomorrow or do we stay? And we decided to stay, and once we decided to stay, we knew that there were other friends and family who were wanting to leave or who needed help along the road. And so we said, what can we do? And so we rented out this hotel. And as people came, they said, what can we do? And as they decided to help too, we've been able to do all sorts of different things. And it's just like so many connections throughout the country with, like I said, friends of friends of friends of family of friends, and just being able to all be together and like ants scatter everywhere and do a lot of different things together.
So it's like you wrote when you first initially put the ants together. When someone kicks an ant bed, the ants don't leave. What do?
They start to rebuild.
They start to rebuild. And what's interesting about this situation, I've likened it a little bit to coastal Mississippi being ground zero for the worst natural disaster in American history, Hurricane Katrina. But Hurricane Katrina came and went. And this war, it came and it goes on, and now there are people who are saying that it could go on for a very long time. Let's hope that's not the case. But what's amazing about your group is that you have proven something that is in the heart and soul of Ukrainians that we in coastal Mississippi can relate to, and that is that you're incredibly resilient. There's a love for this country. And there's a love for independence and freedom, and it's manifesting itself in so many positive ways, isn't it? In the midst of all this negativity.
Absolutely.
So you spent a lot of time initially helping families find sort of their way, out of the country, and as you pointed out, you ultimately got some vans, and you were able to bring supplies to the defenders and all the work that you're doing there. How has it changed? How is the role the ants are playing today? How has it changed over, say, the course last few weeks?
Well, in the beginning, we were sending a lot of things into Kyiv because Kyiv was where the majority of the attack was happening. And so also where most of our friends who were defenders were located at the time. But now and then as cities were liberated, we were sending things into the different cities that have been liberated. But now most of the fighting is happening further east again. And so now the trips are longer. With longer trips, it means you need more gas. Gas is very hard to come by in Ukraine right now. I know that prices are super high in the States, but prices aren't just high here, and they're higher than they are in the States, but you almost can't find it. And so being able to keep our vans going has been an issue lately.
Hey, Laura, what's interesting to me is that in America, I would say overall the news coming out of Ukraine has been well covered for the most part. I would say that there are a lot of American reporters that are scattered all over the country, and they're really working hard to capture the story. But if I'm inside of Ukraine, Where do you get your news from? Has news continued to sort of happen the way it did before, or has it changed?
Actually, in 2014, when the war actually first began, social media is where everybody got their news, especially Twitter at that time was the main place that people would find out what was happening very quickly, because to be able to react, you have to know what's happening right away. And very similar now is that most of our news comes from social media or from friends sharing with friends sharing with friends. Mm-hmm.
Wow, and you had pointed that out before, the network of friends and extended family and friends across the entire country is both invigorating and heartbreaking at the same time. When we come back, we're gonna introduce Laurie's friend Anna, who has 2 kids and a husband on the front line, and we're going to get her story. We'll be back after this. Welcome back to Kosio. I have my friend Laurie Jackson, who is coming to us from Ukraine, Western Ukraine, and she has a friend with her, Anna, who has 2 kids and two young girls, and a husband who is on the front line. And why don't we start with this, Laurie? Just tell us a little bit about Anna, and then I'll have some questions for her.
So you met my really good friend Andrei several weeks ago, and he was actually drafted as well. But Andrei is Anna's brother, and So she came here shortly after he and his wife came with her husband and 2 girls.
Wow. Of course, I know Andre made such an incredible impression on me, Anna. He's a software developer. I remember him well. And the reality that he's had to go from being an innovator, an entrepreneur, and now to fight, it's a sad reality of the situation. So how are you doing, Anna?
I'm okay. I'm trying. Пытаюсь полагаться на Бога.
I try to trust the Lord.
Yes.
Очень сильно мне здесь друзья помогают.
And my friends who are here help me a whole lot.
Yes. Tell me about your daughters.
У меня 2 замечательные дочки.
I have 2 wonderful girls.
Старшая 10.
The older one is 10.
Ее звать Аделина.
Her name is Adelina.
А младшей 2 года.
And the younger one is 2 years old.
И ее звать Лилиана.
And her name's Liliana.
Обычно они очень смешные, и им нравится общаться.
And usually they're very fun, and they like to communicate with people.
Oh, so what was life like for you before the war?
Перед войной меня разделяется на 2 части.
Before the war is separated into 2 sections for me.
Первый момент это 2014 год.
The first starts in 2014.
Мой муж с Авдеевки.
My husband is from Avdiivka.
И мы в 2014 году уехали в Киев.
And so in 2014 we left there for Kyiv.
И до этого было все хорошо.
And so before that everything was good.
А с 2014 года у нас свои, можно сказать, приключения.
But after the 14th, you can call it adventure began.
So Anna, how do you get through the day? What keeps you moving and hopeful about the future?
Во-первых, меня мотивирует то, что у меня есть 2 девочки, 2 дочки, и я должна заботиться о них.
My first motivation is that I have 2 girls and I have to take care of them.
Наверное, это самая большая мотивация, которая меня спонукает дальше что-то делать.
And probably this is the biggest motivation that keeps me pressing on to be able to move forward.
Дальше то, что помогает, это вера в Бога.
And the other thing that helps is my faith in God.
So are the kids able to learn, Laurie? And are they able to continue to learn?
Старшая дочка, она учится.
My older daughter, she studies.
Когда был карантин, У нас в школе началось дистанционное обучение.
When quarantine started because of COVID, my older daughter, she started distance learning.
И я ей помогала, и сейчас я тоже ей помогаю,
And
потому
so
что я учитель.
I was helping her some, and I help her now too, because by profession, I'm a teacher.
Yeah. So are you able to be in touch with your husband?
Yes, guys, move them.
Да.
Yeah.
Сейчас, когда наши мурашки помогают ребятам там на фронте, мой муж иногда может видеозвонок даже 5 минут делать.
So because of some of the help that our aunts here have sent to the front lines, my husband's even been able to have video conversations with me here.
Oh, that's
Очень важно.
And
Yeah.
for the girls, this is very important.
oh my gosh, I can only imagine. Hey, Anna, what would you want Americans to know about you?
I didn't know exactly. То, что у нас есть... Я не одна такая мама.
I'm not just one mom in this situation.
Есть мамы, у которых намного хуже.
There are
даже.
moms who are much worse off than I am right now.
У меня сейчас есть друзья, которые помогают мне заботиться о моих девочках.
I have friends who help me, who help take care of my girls.
А есть очень много мам, которые лишились жилья и нету помощи.
And there are so many moms who have left their homes and they don't have help.
И они так же, как и я, не знают, встретятся ли они с своими мужьями, братьями.
And like me, they don't know if they'll meet their husbands, their brothers again.
God bless you. God bless you. We're out of time, but Anna, you'll be around, and then when I check in with Laurie the next time, we'll come back together again. And Laurie, as I always say, we'll find ways to continue to post how if someone wants to give directly to an effort that's making a difference, there's no middleman involved in this whatsoever. The money that people would contribute would go directly to Laurie's effort there on the ground in Ukraine, and I can't think of a more worthwhile way to connect. God bless you too, and thank you for joining me today.
Thank you.
You bet. Anna, have a good day, and God bless you as well. We will see you after this break. See you in just a second.